So I have a very important update. I got a package at my door and it's from my parents. And so I just FaceTimed them and opened the package. And so now I'm going to show you what the package is. Just gonna go ahead and leave this here. Yes, it is a loom. It's the loom that I wanted, the Kromsky Harp Forte, 24 inches. I'm so excited. Let me show you the box because it's just taking up my entire desk right here. But this is what it looks like. It has a bunch of paper wrapped parts. So I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on here because I have no idea. I'm still so new to the world of looms. I'm gonna have to look up a lot of YouTube videos and then I'll show you what's going on after that. So I think I have done it. Let me show you from my point of view. Okay, so I think it's backwards. I think this is the rear, that's the front up there. So right now it's just kind of facing us backwards. What I have left in the box are these, which I think are shuttles. And then this, I don't know what this is. And these parts are not labeled, so I don't know what it is. It would be helpful if they labeled everything on here because I don't know the technical names for each part. I would say it was pretty easy to set up. There were a few areas where like it was really hurting my hand using this screwdriver. So I did get out my drill and I very carefully and slowly drilled in the screws that were hurting my hands. But also what I'm confused about is, what is this? Did I miss a step? No, I have no idea. I don't know what to do with these. I have these two things, which I don't know what they are. And then I have this one. So I have no idea what these are, what they go to. I don't know, it doesn't tell me. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do some major research. I also have these screws and then I have two washers. Not sure what's going on. It's so fun, but it's also frustrating because I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I need more clear instructions here. Well, I will see you tomorrow, hopefully with a great informative update. I am trying to figure out this weaving stuff. I feel like with these older crafts, like weaving or spinning, there's just not a lot of good information out there or like modern information. Like I was on the Kromsky YouTube and the video that I found for like this loom, it was like 17 years old. I'm like, what am I gonna do with that? It's not good quality. I can't really see the details. I don't know what's going on. It's just been frustrating. But today in my research, I have found on the Ashford website, it's actually New Zealand. I'm sure there's one on the North American website. This is what has pulled up. But they have a really good in-depth picture by picture guide on warping the loom. And that's what I'm trying to find. I'm really just trying to find like the most simple like dishcloth pattern or something in the most basic weave. Like I want to do the most basic thing and I just cannot find information about it. Like when I look up videos, it's like, they're like, okay, like I'm gonna warp it, but they don't explain exactly what they're doing, where they're pulling like the yarn through. Like I need to know what's going on. Why are we pulling it through those slats and not the holes? And now why are we pulling it through the holes instead of the slats? And when do we do that? Like I don't get it. So I'm just gonna start at step one, which is warping the loom. And I'm gonna use the step-by-step guide. It's pretty much the same as like what I have going on my loom. I'm gonna do that and I'm gonna figure out what the next step is and we're gonna go from there. I'm a bit overwhelmed. I just can't find information. I want to just get on there and weave something. I don't care if it's bad. I just wanna figure it out, you know? So we gotta warp it and I need space to do this. A lot of people use like a big table. So I'm gonna pick a yarn and the thing is like I was learning about like set, S-E-T-T, and like ins per inch. I don't know, but apparently not every yarn works because you know, like some yarn is bulky, some is not. I don't know. These are the things I would like to ask questions about. So I'm just gonna use like a really basic cotton yarn, probably worsted weight, and go from there. Yeah, okay, let's figure this out. Okay, so I have tried to figure out the loom stuff. I can't figure it out. I tried to figure it out on my island and I was following my instructions online. I got stuck and then I got frustrated and I was like, I just don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't think I have enough room in this apartment. I don't have a table for it. Like I just am not quite sure what to do. I have kind of figured out what all those parts were yesterday. A lot of them have to do with warping the loom. So I figured that out, but yeah, I just don't really have the space to do it, or I don't know, I'm just at like a standstill. So, okay, today is the day that I'm going to try to warp my loom. I'm gonna show you my setup. I'm gonna use cotton worsted weight yarn. I don't wanna go out and buy anything. This is what I have, and I think I have enough yardage. I think I just wanna do like a simple dishcloth, something really easy, just so I can introduce myself into this world of weaving. So I have the loom here, and it is attached to my kitchen island with a clamp. And then over there, I have the warping peg. I'm gonna be doing direct warping, so I'm using a warping peg instead of using like a warping board. I got this book here yesterday at a fiber shop called Blazing Star Ranch in Denver. It's one of my favorite yarn shops here. They sell a lot of fiber, they sell spinning wheels and looms, and I was able to kind of pick the brain of an employee there, and she recommended this book. I looked through it. It looks like a really good book. It's called Inventive Weaving on a Little Loom. Discover the full potential of the rigid heddle loom for beginners and beyond. There is a step-by-step guide on how to warp, so I'm going to use this guide and hopefully have success. So as you can see here, I have this clamp, and I think the loom is on there pretty tightly. It doesn't really move, although this foot is, and I don't know if that's just my countertop being uneven or what. This is the warping peg. It is also on there pretty tightly, and it's sturdy. I don't think it's gonna come off. This is what I'm using. I'm gonna use purple for the warp because I have more of this yarn. So the first step here is put the warp source ball of yarn on the floor behind the loom. Also, this is the front, this is the back. The front of your loom should be the side nearest to the peg. Okay, so we're gonna put this behind the loom. Ball of yarn behind the loom. Tie the free end of the warp onto the back rod of the rigid heddle loom. This is the back rod, and then I have to put string on it. So I'm gonna do that really quick. Great. Okay, I think I did it. So I'm going to take my yarn and tie it to this back rod. Yarn is tied to the back rod. I'm gonna go ahead and put the heddle in. Now I'm gonna put my little slot hook into the middle, which I marked with a tiny dot of pin. I'm gonna grab the yarn, pull it through. I'm gonna put it around the peg right here. Look at that, beautiful, one warp done. Wrap the warp over the back rod through the next slot. Done. I think I'm doing this right. Oh, I started in the middle, and I don't know if I'm supposed to start in the middle, so I might have to redo this. I started off to the side. Okay, so I'm gonna bring you back over here so I can show you what I'm doing. So I have two warp threads going on. I'm gonna put my little hook through the next slot, grab some yarn. This yarn kind of feels a little thick because there is some resistance when I'm putting it through the slot, but we're going with it. It's gonna be okay. And then I'm pulling my yarn and then putting it on the peg. Like so. So I'm gonna do this a whole bunch of times. I'll put it on a time lapse or something, and then we will see what the next step is. I have run into an issue. I ran out of yarn. I literally got to the end piece and was like, wait, where did the yarn go? Like, where is the other half? Like, where's the yarn? It's gone, completely gone. So what do? I have no idea. Maybe I just like tie a knot in like a different color. I will Google it really quick. I'll go find another color and go from there. Okay, I have this blue yarn. I'm gonna use this. It's cotton worsted weight. I think Google said like you just tie the yarn onto the back beam, which makes a lot of sense. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to see, I'm gonna tie off the purple onto this back rod, and then I'm gonna tie on the blue and then just continue doing what I was doing. I think that's the right way to go about this. That's so wild how I just used like a whole ball of yarn. Like it wasn't a complete ball of yarn. There was probably, I don't know, I only used a tiny bit of it. So it was almost an entire ball of yarn, which I think is 120 yards. I don't know if I'm correct in that calculation there, but wild. I only have like a few more inches to go, and then I'll be done with this process. Okay, let's do it. All right, so I think I'm done with the step. Look how beautiful this is. Wow. Stunning. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. Here is what the back looks like. I have not tied off this piece yet, but this is how it looks. I tried my best not to twist the yarn as I was going, but I started kind of realizing it was twisting maybe from here, and then I started correcting all the way down here. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's all right, we're learning. Now on to the next step. So this step I'm a little nervous for. Usually you would have like maybe another person helping you. I don't have that option, but she did mention in the book to use a weight. She uses like a 4-pound dumbbell. I don't have 4 pounds, I have 10 pounds, which might be a little too heavy, but it's all I have. So we're gonna have to go with it. So I'm gonna take the yarn off this peg and then put it onto the middle of this dumbbell. I'm gonna try my best to keep this even and where everything is. Slide the dumbbell in there, and then I'm gonna hold it back like that. I think that's okay. I will adjust the threads as I go here. So the yarn is on the dumbbell over there, and now I'm going to be cranking this back beam, which is called the warp beam. Oh, okay. That's going to be very loud. I think I just crank, make sure it's tight and even until the loop back there reaches the front beam over here. I had to do that twice because I noticed one side was really loose than the other, and I was only using one piece of cardstock back here, so now I decided to do 2. So the reason for the cardstock is sometimes people use cardstock or like craft paper or other things, but I guess it helps keep even tension instead of like the yarn winding onto the yarn and then maybe sandwiching in between yarns. The paper helps separate them so it just winds on smoothly. So that's what I was doing with the paper, but right now everything is even. There's no loose spots. So what do we do next? I'm scared. Okay, so this part is a bit tricky. I have to cut the loop. I'm kind of scared, and I'm just reading through, threading the holes here, and I'm just a little confused on it. But the first step is to cut the loop, so I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna put my arm in here, take off the weight. Oh no, everything's all wonky. Okay, and then I'm just gonna cut the loop, maybe just like this. I don't know if it has to be even. I don't know. The book doesn't really super clarify it, but okay. Did that. Pull both threads in a slot to put them under tension. This makes it easier to separate them. So one slot right here. Pick one thread. For most projects, it doesn't matter. Lift that thread and reaching behind the heddle, use your fingers to spread it horizontally for about 1 inch behind the hole. Remove it from, so should I just remove it from the slot? So maybe I just take it out of the slot. Is that really what it's trying to say? Because like, I have no idea. Okay. Without leaning over the heddle, use the hook to reach through the hole and grab the yarn you've tensioned with your fingers. Pull the yarn through the hole. Okay, so I'm gonna go, it said like if you're going to the left, keep going to the left. If you're going to the right, keep going to the right. So I think I'm gonna go to the left because that looks like it works maybe. So I think I'm gonna go through and I'm separating these and pulling them through the hole. Okay, let's do it, I guess. So now I'm gonna be taking this and tying it on to this beam right here. I'm gonna take a group starting in the middle and tie it on, and then I'm gonna go to the right, and then the left, and then the right, left, so I can get even tension. And you pull it over the rod and then under, and then you take these and tie them in a knot. This is called a surgeon's knot. I'm just gonna be checking this beam right here and just making sure it is parallel to this one down here, so it's as straight as possible and I can get even tension. Okay, first one is done. Hi, so it's the next day and I need to put the yarn on this shuttle. So that's what I'm gonna work on right now. And then I'm gonna bring the loom over to my desk and we're gonna start weaving. So I'm so excited, I cannot wait. Let's get started with this. I have put the yarn on the shuttle. I decided to use the whole ball of yarn. The book said I should maybe stop at like 1 inch thickness, and this is around then. So it's on there. And now I'm going to be raising the heddle. So this is the heddle. I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna put it on the top notch here. There we go. And you can see that now there is a gap here. This is called the shed. So it says to pass the shuttle containing the weft from one side of the open shed to the other, leaving behind a line of thread. Do not use the heddle to beat the thread into place. Okay, so let's feed this through. Okay, so now I need to put it down, which I think is supposed to go like all the way down there. Like this is neutral, so I think you have to put like, oh wait, no, you do this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it's in there. And then I'm gonna put this going through the other way. So I'm gonna put it back up here and throw the shuttle through. Beat hard to smack all 3 weft picks into place together. Okay. I might have to clamp the loom to my desk. That would make sense. Okay. Beating hard. I think that's good. I'm gonna put it back into its neutral position. So I think this right here is kind of like the start of my project, but not my actual project. It's like the beginnings of it. Yeah, I don't know. I have clamped it to my table, so it is not going anywhere. And now I'm going to be making my first weft. I don't really know how hard I'm supposed to be beating it, but I guess I'll figure that out as I move along here. I know that the tension needs to be pretty taut, but I don't know how tight. Like, I'm afraid I'm gonna break it. I don't know. Through here. Alrighty, well, I think I'm gonna put you on a time lapse so you can watch me weave and go through this project. I think I'm doing it correctly. I'm not quite sure how hard I should be beating it and how close the wefts should be together. I'm not really sure of that. So, you know, I'm figuring it out, but I will see you soon. So this is my first weave. What I've noticed is my selvages, the left side looks good-ish, it's like tight. And then on the right side, I have some loose loops around there. So I've been trying to focus a little bit on what I'm doing on my right side to figure out why they're so loose. I think I just need to pull it a bit tighter, but I would say this is about 9 inches maybe. So I think what I'm gonna do is loosen the tension and then cut these strings. And then this will be done. And I can tie the strings to this rod right here and then start a new project. And then I'm gonna figure out how to like totally finish off this cloth, see how it looks when it's not under tension. So I'm gonna go ahead and loosen the tension. I'm gonna pull this forward and then I might loosen it again. I just wanna make sure when I cut this, the yarn doesn't snap back. And then I'm just gonna cut it and then figure out where to go from there. I'm kind of nervous. I don't know if it super matters. It might matter project to project, but I'm gonna go ahead and just cut it like right here. And then pull this off. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. And then I'm gonna take this rod out. Wow. Oh my gosh. Look at that. It's so cool. Here it is. I love it. It's like not perfect. It's my first project, but I love this. Oh my gosh. It's so cool. And also this is like the blue warp side and it just created something so funky. I don't know. I just think it's so cool. All right, I'm gonna bring it really close so you can see the texture. That's what it looks like. I'm gonna figure out how to finish this. I think I might get my sewing machine out and sew the ends to keep them sealed and keep the cloth from unraveling. I think that's kind of like the best way to do it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. So I guess I have to set up my sewing machine. I'll be right back. So I watched a video of someone finishing a dish towel, and what they did first was did like a zigzag on both ends, and then they cut off a certain portion of the towel up here, and then they took that and hemmed it all around to make nice, neat edges. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna zigzag the top and the bottom here where the fringe is, and then I'm gonna cut all of that off, and then I'm gonna go through through and hem the edges so they're nice and clean, right? I'm using like cream colored thread because I don't feel like changing my bobbin. And since this is my first project, I'm really not too worried about it looking perfect because there's already so many imperfections. I just don't care that much. So my zigzag is right here. I'm gonna cut just under it, pretty close to it. So now I have a piece of fabric and, oh boy, I guess I'm just gonna like roll this edge and then sew it straight. I think that's the best way to do it really, is just roll the edge. And I think I'm just gonna leave the selvage edges as is. Probably would be good to iron it. I really don't feel like getting the iron out. I know. So I sewed the edges, but I did make a mistake and I'm not redoing it. I'm not taking a seam ripper to this thing. I just cannot, I'm not doing that, but it's fine. It's my first project. I don't think I'm gonna use this really for anything, not even as a washcloth. It's just simply here. So I sewed the top hem on one side, the bottom hem on the other side. Yeah, and no, I'm not gonna seam rip that. You can't even see the stitches. Like, no way. So I'm just gonna go along with it and, you know, I might just hang it somewhere because it's my first weave. I want to point out some things though. The stiffness of it, you can tell it's not like super drapey. Of course, I'm gonna wash this and see how it looks then, but I still don't think it's gonna be like super drapey. This is loops and thread cotton, so it's not exactly the softest cotton out there. And I knew that, but I was simply using it so I can learn. You know, this is my learning piece right here. And as for consistency, I think I did pretty well. There are a few lines I saw that maybe weren't as close as some other ones. I think over here maybe, but that's okay. Definitely something to look out for on my next project. I'm also gonna figure out how hard I should be beating it because I'm not really sure. So that's one question I have. And then getting even sides. This side was pretty even-ish. It's much better than this side for sure. So I gotta figure that one out as well. But I think I'm going to redo the warp on the loom and then just continue going back and forth with this color just to practice and, you know, keep doing that until the warp is gone, I guess, because then I can start something new, something fun, use some different yarn, maybe my hand spun. So exciting, I cannot wait. So that's what I'm gonna work on right now, just kind of practicing, weaving. Hopefully I can kind of work my issues out and like figure out why I'm making these issues. And then I can start like an actual project that I wanna like actually use. And yeah, I don't know, maybe a scarf. I really wanna make like a blanket, but I don't want to be that ambitious yet. So like a scarf would be something really simple, easy to do. It is summer, but you know, I don't know. I just want to make like something that I can use eventually. So I'm about to warp my loom again, but this time I think I have a project in mind. I think I'm gonna do something really simple, like a scarf, really basic. It is July, it's hot out, but I don't know, I need to make something. So I have two yarns here that I pulled from my stash. The first is Noro. This is Silk Garden. It is 45% silk, 45% mohair, 10% wool. It is single ply. I just pulled on this piece right here and I was able to take a piece off of it. I don't think I really want to use this for warping because it's going to be under tension and I really don't want to deal with broken warps at this moment. It might be okay because there's going to be multiple like warps on there, so that'll kind of take the tension off of like one strand of yarn, but I don't know, I just don't want to risk it. So the next yarn that I have right here is Cotton Jeans. It's from the LB collection, which is a Lion brand. It's 100% cotton. It's so soft and beautiful. I like the color, so I think I'm going to use this for warping because because I think it's gonna be a little bit stronger. And then I'm gonna go through and do my weft with the Noro Silk Garden. These are the colors, so pretty. And then I just wanted like a neutral to go in there, so that's why I picked the gray, but also this is what I have in my stash. So I just pulled whatever I had. Yeah, I'm excited. Let's go warp the loom once again. So I have this set up here. I'm gonna start warping. I believe I'm gonna do like 11 inches of warp, and then how long it's gonna be is 110 inches, which is very long. So I have this chair set up with my warping peg. I hope this works because I don't have any other space or anything long enough to warp this. So this is what we're gonna be doing. 110 inches seems really long. I have like a free pattern that I pulled up just so I can get some like dimensions. It says 110 inches from the back beam all the way to the warping peg. I don't know, maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, but I think that's what it is. Of course, the whole scarf isn't gonna be 110 inches long because there's gonna be some spaces on the ends. I guess I'll start warping now. Maybe I'll double check some other patterns and see what they do, because I don't need a very long scarf, but I also want it to be nice and cozy and like really well made. So let me just do some research and then I'll go from there. I consulted Google and it said that I guess maybe the common size is like 90 to 108 inches. So 110 is like right around there. I guess that's normal. So let's start. The warping peg fell off my chair and now my warp looks like this, and I thought, okay, I'll go through it, separate them, put them back on the warping peg, and it's just not happening. I'm like an inch away from being done. Yes, okay, so I'm gonna undo everything I just did and redo it all. I'm assuming that's the only way to fix this. It only seems possible to get like the correct tension for everything, so I guess that's what I have to do. Ugh, so frustrating. All right, so I moved my loom over to my desk and I am now going to take these strands of yarn. So there's 2 in a slot. I'm gonna take one out, put it in the hole. So then there's gonna be yarn in a slot, hole, slot, hole, slot, hole, and so on. So I'm gonna work my way through these. And then after that, I can finally tie it to the loom and then we can get started. So excited to get weaving. This is my second day warping this because the warping peg falling off kind of ruined everything. So I'm very excited to actually start weaving today and, you know, use some fun colors and see how they work up. I'm so excited, oh my gosh. Okay, exciting delivery. I bought a loom stand. Yes, I did. It is here. They actually delivered it to the wrong door. They seem to do that often in these apartments. Anyway, I went and retrieved it. Now I'm gonna put it together. It's gonna be so nice because I feel like my desk is a little bit tall for the loom and it kind of hurts my back. So this is gonna be really nice to set up so I can just sit in a chair and I can lower the loom to whatever my height is and it will save my back. So I'm gonna get to building this. I did it. I had to screw in this bottom piece 3 times because I had the holes facing me and then I realized they're supposed to be facing out, and then I had the logo upside down and so I had to turn it around. I think this is how it goes. It looks like the pegs are sticking out this way. So there are holes on this other side and you can store the warping pegs down there because on the other side of this loom, you can turn it over and use it as a warping board if you want to. If you don't really want to do that and you want to just use the one peg for like a direct warping method, you can do that, but you can store these extra pegs down here, which is really nice. And then you can use this as a shelf to hold things if you want to. Uh-oh, I need to tighten these feet here because they are moving on me. Okay, they're still kind of moving on me. I don't know. I will fix that later. What I've also seen done is, well, first of all, I screwed this side on backwards. I'm like really, See, the thing is, like, the instructions are clear. They have photos, but like, they don't really, I don't know, they need to be more clear. Like, hey, you might place this one on backwards, so make sure it's facing this way. But it doesn't say that, so I'm making a lot of mistakes here. You can take these pegs over here and place them here and here. Haha. And then you'll have a place to put your shuttle down. When you are sitting here and you need to put it down, you can set it right there. So smart. I love that. This is my warping peg, and then I have these screws. Wow, look at that. I need to fix these feet. I just need to tighten them a little bit, but look how beautiful this is. Oh my God, I cannot wait to use it. I'm gonna use it right now to finish up getting these yarns going through the holes and all that. I love it so much. Wow. Everything is in its hole or slot. Now I'm going to attach this yarn to this rod here. I'm going to start in the middle. I'm gonna grab a chunk. I'm gonna tie it around this rod. Okay, so I'm winding up the shuttle, and I have a question. This yarn is kind of like has color changes, right? I only have like this much left, so maybe I'll just do the whole skein on here. Okay, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Also, I have 4 skeins of this yarn, so I hope that's enough. And if it's not, I'll just weave until I'm done with all 4, and then just that's it, I'm done, because I got this yarn a while ago and I won't get it in the same colorway and, you know, all that stuff. So, okay, well, I'm gonna continue winding this on, and then we're gonna start. I'm so excited. Alrighty, I am ready to start. I think I need to do my little thing, like the start of it, but I don't wanna use my good yarn for this. I do have like this little bit of gray, so maybe I'll do this tiny bit of gray. So I did like 3 rows of that, and then I'm going to beat it hard, and that will be it. And then I'm gonna tighten the tension a bit, and I'm gonna start in an up position, grab my shuttle. I love this peg situation over here. Oh my gosh, it's so nice. I'm gonna really try my best to keep my edges clean. That is my goal with this weave. I just wanna make sure that they're not too wobbly and they're not too uneven. So yeah, I'm gonna try my best to be consistent. So I'm gonna put you on a time lapse, and I'm gonna zip through this and see how far I can get tonight. Oh my gosh, I just love it. I cannot wait. It already looks so cool. Okay, let's go. So this is where I've been hanging out this week to weave. I have been watching reality TV and just weaving along in the evenings, and it's been so nice. I have 2 cushions back here and this really stiff pillow. So I am propped up, and then I can scooch this really close to me, and I put my feet down here, and then I've been weaving away. It's been so nice, and I've made so much progress. I'm gonna zoom you in so you can see what's going on over here. So right here you can see everything that I have woven that's wrapped around this beam right here. And then back here, this is what I have left to go. So I'm nearly there. I have gone through 2 full skeins of yarn. I put a 3rd one on just last night, and everything has been blending in so beautifully. I just love this yarn. I love Noro so much. I want to recreate some Noro, although this is single ply, and I really don't trust my single ply to be strong or consistent enough to be able to use it like this. this, but I just love the colorway so much. Here's a close-up of the fabric. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. So pretty. I'm gonna keep weaving away until my warp is gone. I'm not sure how many balls of yarn I'm gonna use, but this is my last one after what's on the shuttle over here. So also this colorway is 369 Silk Garden Noro, if you are interested in it, because it is so beautiful. My issues are left side selvages look nice. Right side has been an issue. I have been trying so hard to correct it. It's looking good here. It's pretty straight, but there's still some like inconsistencies, and I was really struggling on the right side for a while. So we'll see on the finished scarf how it really looks, but I can't wait to be done with this so I can, one, take it off the loom, see what it looks like when it's off the loom, and then two, wash it, wet finish it, and see what it looks like when the yarn fully blooms and what the complete finished product will look like. I'm very excited. I was having some doubts yesterday. I was like, oh my gosh, like, is this gonna be so big and long? But I think it's actually gonna be perfect, I hope. And I'm unsure if I wanna do tassels. I think I do, because I think scarves look better with tassels, but do I want the tassels to be gray, or do I want them to be colorful like the Noro yarn? So that's kind of my dilemma there. I feel like it would look better and like blend in better with the Noro being used as the tassels, but that's a future problem and we'll get there when we get there. So this is my progress so far. It's beautiful. I can't wait to show you what it looks like when it's all off the loom and the progression of colors, because it is so stunning. So far I've been loving it. I actually have it cross-stitched in 2 nights because I usually cross-stitch in the evenings when I retire to the couch, but I've been doing this the past couple evenings, which is really fun. But I should be done tomorrow, maybe. I'm gonna say like today I'm gonna do a little bit, and then tomorrow I'll do a little bit. So we'll see where I am then, and then I'll walk you through the process of taking it off the loom and finishing it. I can't wait. It's gonna be just so beautiful. So I think that this is done. I do have some left on my shuttle here, and I probably could keep weaving a little bit more, but I don't know. I think I might want to use this for the fringe, and I also think that this is just long enough in general. I think it's going to be okay. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off of the loom. I'm so excited. I'm going to cut my shuttle off. This is in a neutral position. Okay, are you ready? I think I'm going to go all the way up here. Now I'm going to slide this bar out. Oh my gosh, here we go. All right, here it is. So I'm obviously gonna be adding some fringe to it, and I'm gonna wash it and all that, but I really wanna try it on. Oh my gosh, look how beautiful. I'll probably most likely wear it like this. Something like this. This is how I usually wear my scarves in the wintertime. I do live in Colorado, so it does get cold, and we do have a winter time. I could definitely wear it like this as well, and it doesn't look too bad. Yes, I was afraid it was gonna be way too long, like just swamping me. It's not too bad. I am 5'4". You know, if I make like an extra super long scarf, it might look really good on like a super tall person. It might not look so great on me, but not too bad. Oh my gosh, I love it. I cannot wait to like wet finish it. It doesn't feel too bad. I was a little afraid that it might be a little scratchy. Of course, I'm not really gonna know until I'm wearing it for however long I'm wearing it out and about. I'll have to give you an official review of this scarf when it's cold out, and I have worn this for a long period of time. As of right now, just off the loom, it's not too scratchy. There's like a little bit of scratchiness, but it's not too bad. Oh, I'm so excited. It's better than like a sweater. I do have one sweater that I made, and it is so incredibly scratchy that I can't wear it. You have to wear something under it, and that's great if it's like in the negatives or something. It has to be like frigid out. Otherwise, if I wear something under it and then put the sweater on, I'm just way too hot. Like, it is so hot. But if I don't wear anything under it and I just have the sweater on my skin, it is so incredibly itchy, and that sucks because I put a lot of time and effort into making a sweater that I can't even wear. Yeah, it's It's just not fun, okay? It just sucks. So yay, I'm so excited. So I don't have a fringe twister, which helps make the fringe. It pretty much twists the fringe for you. I think it would be really nice to do the gray and some Noro together, but I could also just tie on the leftover Noro onto both ends. Also, this side is losing its last row that I have woven here because it's not sewn together or anything. I might sew a zigzag stitch on both ends so it doesn't come undone, but yeah, I don't know. Let me do some more research and then I will figure out what to do with this scarf. And then after that, I can wet finish it and we can really see what the scarf looks like. So I think I've figured out this fringe thing. I went ahead and sewed a zigzag stitch on both ends of the scarf to secure the weft. And then I cut 8 inches of the Noro and I used a crochet hook to loop it in there. And it looks like this. So I think I'm gonna do that all the way down. I might skip, do every other hole or something because I kind of want it to be like this. And then I'm gonna put it on my cutting mat and make sure all the fringe is straight and cut it straight. But for now, I think this is how long I want it to be. I'm not sure about this gray yet. Maybe I'll leave it there. I'm just gonna go ahead and put the Noro on there with the gray and see how it looks. Just because I don't know what to do with the gray. If I had an 8-inch something, I could wrap the yarn around it and it would be easier, but I think I'm just gonna measure out 8 inches of yarn and just cut a million pieces of that. I know that sounds really tedious and there's probably a better way to do it, but I just don't have a better way at the moment. I've been looking around and I'm I don't have a single thing that I can wrap this around, and I really like the length of these tassels. So that's what I'm gonna work on right now, just cutting a bunch of yarn and then we'll go from there. Yeah, okay, that's my plan. All right, so I have finished the fringe on both sides. Not too bad. I'm gonna wet finish this first before I cut the fringe because I am using 2 different types of fiber, wool, silk, and then cotton for the warp. So I don't want one of those to shrink and kind of mess up the evenness of the fringe. So I'm gonna go prepare my bathtub, and I think that's where I'm gonna soak it. And then I have some blocking mats that I'm gonna set it on. So that's what we're gonna go do right now. So I wanted to go over some of the things that I have woven. First, obviously this was the first one that I did. This was the second thing that I did with the leftover warp. It's just a stripy thing. I guess I could make it into a placemat or something. I don't really know what to do with it. It's not finished yet. I just simply took it off the loom and set it aside. I then made this beautiful scarf. I love it so much. It is beautiful, stunning. See if I can kind of show you how it looks. Here we go. This is how big it is. If I wrap it around like this, it goes to right above my knees. But if I kind of wrap it around me, I think it looks okay. Or if I do a little loop and pull it through, which is kind of how I like to wear my scarves, it's perfect. I love this. I also feel like it got softer after the wet finishing. I did use a wool wash with it, so maybe that contributed to the softness. I love the way it drapes. It's just beautiful. And then of course the fringe. It's perfect. In the past, I have made scarves knitting and crochet. I have put too much fringe on there and it kind of causes the end to flare out a bit. So I really wanted to be conservative with my fringe and make sure I didn't do that. And I think I accomplished that. It's not flaring out too much at all. I love the mixed colors of the Noro and the gray in there. I think it turned out so nice. I just love this scarf. I cannot wait to wear this. It's currently $95 5 degrees out, so you know, I've got some time, but that's okay. As soon as we get a cold enough day to wear this, I will definitely be wrapping myself up in this beautiful scarf. And I feel like it went by pretty fast. It took me like less than a week to make. I don't know if that's the norm for most people, but you know, the majority of it was done with me sitting on the couch and just like watching TV and weaving. So that's how it was done so fast. And then after the scarf, I kind of experimented with coasters. I just wanted to do something small and quick, and they're not perfect. I used some cotton yarn that I already had. These are what they look like. I used cotton from Hobie. It's 8/8 rainbow, something like that. It was a little stretchy, which was kind of frustrating when I was weaving because I felt like the tension was off on some threads. I tried my best to like fix it, but when I was weaving I think they call it the fell line, or like the last weft that I would do, it would be like kind of wavy and bumpy, and I figured it was because some of the threads were not being pulled as tight as some of the other threads, but it's okay. I was just experimenting, and I don't know, I was kind of going for like a plaid effect, I guess, on some of these, and I did get shorter and shorter as I was weaving. I don't know how it happened. I think I was just getting impatient, but I just was experimenting. This one's weird and funky and doesn't match at all. This one is like symmetrical. This one I experimented with clasp weaving, or like a clasped weft, where you put a thread of yarn going through, kind of like a loop, and then you put another thread around it. So it's kind of like this, and then you pull on those, and then you can get 2 different colors. I don't know. I didn't have like a pattern or anything. I was just randomly doing it, but if you turn it this way, it kind of looks like a heart. I don't know. That was my last weaving project that I did, and you know, these are fun and cute, and like I could always use more coasters. It doesn't matter if they're perfect. I was just kind of playing around and trying to distract myself. My next project that I'm going to be working on is a rug. I bought some macrame cord and some really thin, like number 5 crochet thread. I was reading online that, like, I don't know, some people said you can't make a rug on a rigid heddle loom, but I'm going to anyway, and I'm pretty sure I can succeed with it. So I'm gonna do it, and that will be my next project. If you want to see that, it'll be in a future vlog, so you can go check it out then. I hope you enjoyed my weaving adventure. It was definitely a process. There was some frustrations here and there, but for the most part, I think I got it down. I think I understand it. I'm understanding the terminology. I'm getting it, and I'm also understanding, you know, when things go wrong, like kind of how to fix them. So I'm getting there. I've enjoyed it so much. I cannot wait to do mini projects. It's going to be just a good time all around. I can't wait to use my hand spun in some of them. So if you're into that, if you're into spinning, if you're into fiber arts at all, feel free to subscribe and watch some of my older vlogs or my newer ones coming up. I post every single week, and I just kind of show you what I'm doing throughout the week, craft-wise, essentially. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week. Goodbye.